Welcome back to part 4 on Uzi Talking 2 with me, Jeff, Kim and Danny. Kim is a paramedic and she's partners with Danny. So,
me.
how did you meet?
We've been friends for years.
Yeah.
And then you started working where I work, and I split up with my missus, she split up with her husband, and it just seemed like I asked her, she said yeah, which surprised me. And that's it really, mate.
No, it's great because it's like you can both sort of confine in each other
Just,
with all the stress that you go through.
Well, you know exactly where each other are coming from when you know what each other deals with at work and stuff.
Yeah, we don't tend to talk about work that much.
No, at home, not really, no.
Just mainly sort of, maybe the odd person at work, but...
yeah.
That's how you cope, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, sometimes you can just, like we talked about before, you know, you get those bad jobs, you know, you can sort of say, you know, yeah, but you did fine, you know, did you do that? Yeah. Did you do that? Yeah. Well, that's all you can do, it's fine. Yeah. And try not to overthink things. I think that's a big problem in life in general, but especially in our job, some people overthink.
Oh, so you're lucky really, because I bet, you know, for people that who are not in the job and then going home and then, you know, the other partner's curious and they think, I don't really want to speak.
And that's it, you don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
I think with the overthinking with people in our job, it comes with experience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like the less experienced you are, you want to make sure that you're doing everything right, so you do think at 100 miles an hour and you want to make sure you're doing everything right. So having that person to bounce off every once in a while really does help.
So Kim, that's brilliant. I want to pick your brains now.
Okay.
On these new drugs. I mean, the Spice Boys or the Spice Girls, as they say.
Spice
What is Spice? I mean, this is dangerous. So
Spice is a synthetic cannabis-based drug. So you smoke it. We don't know what's in it in a nutshell because there's so many different chemicals and stuff that they throw in it, and it just makes people go off their head. In a nutshell, they'll be crawling all over wherever they've taken it. They'll be drowsy. They won't be making much sense. It affects how you breathe. You know, plenty of people have died from taking it. Yeah, it's really not good stuff. And because it's synthetic, we can't treat it because we don't know what's in it. So it's like a guessing game of what meds we can give you to try. Well, we don't in the ambulance, but the hospital can't treat you properly because they don't know what's in it to treat. If that makes sense. Yeah,
well, the thing is, can you buy it from the shops, like vaping shops and stuff? Is that right?
I think some dodgy ones, yeah. Some dodgy ones, yeah. But yeah, you can't. Like you can.
It's so inexpensive as well.
Yeah, you buy for as little as 50p in some places.
It's not expensive, so you know there's a big issue with it in Manchester.
Yeah.
Especially central Manchester.
Yeah.
A lot of homeless people, and you know it's a big issue.
It's a big issue, yeah, because they lose the senses, so they can't walk. They're in the middle of the street getting knocked down. How many incidents have you been when they go?
They happen every day, Jeff. Every day.
So kids or teenagers, you're into doing spice.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, you don't look good.
No, definitely not. No.
I mean, this is another thing. I mean, there's another drug which is hitting Russia now, flakker, or what's it on, crocodilian or something. What's that about?
So they're nasty ones. So flakker basically makes you like a zombie. It's meant to be like heroin and cannabis mixed together, and then
synthesised.
Yeah, they synthesise it, then they extract the fluid from it, and then you inject it, and then
not good.
Yeah, it's not good. You're all over the place. Your heart's going 10 to the dozen. You're breathing really quick. You're really aggressive and stuff like that, and then your heart will just pack in and you'll drop dead or you'll fit. And it's really not good for you at all.
And it's out in, say, Russia now, and it's spreading.
It'll get it, won't it?
It's big in South Africa as well. Yeah, really big in South Africa, yeah.
I look forward to that when that comes out. First job I do with that. Because it will happen, it will come over here, I'm sure. It will.
And the old angel dust and what's the GHB, is it?
GHB, the date rape drug. But that's prevalent at the minute. But people are just taking it at home just to be numb, and then having really bad reactions to it. a lot. That's another thing that people don't really think about with dealing with the poor mental health, is that they're taking stuff just to feel numb.
Yeah, just sat around taking drugs. It's not ideal. I mean, that stuff stops you breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you take too much of that, you just stop.
Yeah.
So if you have COVID, you say because people can cope, some people can cope with COVID,
Yeah.
and that, that's gonna.
Well, yeah, you're not doing it. You're gonna be having a bad day then. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little tiny bit, and because it's the stuff. It's a liquid. So I've seen it a few times. Girls getting spiked. You don't get me wrong. You go out to people all the time who say they've been spiked and they're not. They're just pissed.
They don't want to admit
But,
it.
but then you go out to, you know, attractive women who are just mindless like that, sat there, and all these people do is they just walk along, just put like 3 or 4 drips in the drink, and that's it. It's done. And then they start chatting to them. Within 10 or 15 minutes, they're out the game, and they just lead them away. And that's it.
The date rate, and you see it as well.
Yeah.
Oh Christ! Well, look, I'm obviously going to pick your brains because I remember as a kid I went to hospital because I put a pan on my head.
Got stuck.
Or put my hand down the trumpet for ages, like that, walk around.
Yeah.
Any funny stories you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, it's a serious job, isn't it? And you know, death and life and death. It's doom and gloom. One thing you do develop is you develop a warped sense of humour. Honest to God, you find the worst things funny. I mean, everyone's thinking about it. You know, the old stuff stuck up the jacksie. But yeah, been to a few of them. You know, few of them. They just sort of. I mean, you wouldn't ring an ambulance for it, would you? Honest to God.
It's definitely last ditch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I went to a job not too long ago where a elderly gentleman, I'll say, went to visit a lady of the night.
Okay.
And it got a bit experimental and started putting things up, you know where, and then it got stuck, and then
The fellas that.
Yeah, had it stuck up them, and then
each to their own.
each to their own. And then in an attempt of desperation to try and fish it out, they then got a lipstick stuck up there as well. And obviously this guy's mortified, and this lady was like, this is not going to be my problem for any longer. So he's rang for an ambulance, but because he's so embarrassed, he's kicking off in the background.
Oh.
So because it's got so heated in the background.
Take him away.
So they've rang the police as well. So by the time we get sent there, there's 6 bobbies in this house with this
fella
with this lady of the night and this fella looking really sheepish. He's not telling us anything. And this woman's like, he's got a vibrator in his ass. So we're like, right, okay. Yeah, he wasn't for talking, shall we say?
So you've walked in there, and he's probably saying, "No, we're all right, we're all right."
Yeah, fine.
Did you hear a buzzing?
He tried to remain professional.
He denied that there was anything up there to begin with. I mean, I get it. Yeah. And then he was just shuffling about on his couch like this. I'm like, are you uncomfortable, hon? Are you feeling okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. And then we finally got it out of him, not literally, like the fact that he had something up there. And then he refused to come with us, and he was just walking down the road with this thing up his bum vibrating away.
Busby. So you don't make me laugh, but do you know, have you had that, as I said, you got there and they got to go to the operation theatre and that stuff like that?
Sometimes, for that they can.
If he goes up the colon and gets stuck.
So you wouldn't advise him to get like a pair of prongs or try and make it deeper or try and get up
themselves? Tapered end or put a rope on it. Something like that. Because when it goes and sort of, without going into anatomy, there's kind of 2 sphincters, and once you go past the second one, it's a vacuum and it's just in. That's where it goes.
Oof. Yeah. There's a warning for you, experimenters. It's just another case, and that's so alone. But that must be going to hospital. You must think.
Imagine you'd get in the car and drive like 500 miles away to somewhere you're never going to go again in your life, wouldn't you? Just.
If you could tolerate driving that far.
I accidentally sat on this, doctor. Yeah.
Blokes at Hoovers as well.
Oh, Hoovers, eh?
Yeah, blokes at Hoovers. Can't get it off. Just fell on it, honestly.
Seriously?
Oh
no.
I was hoovering
Especially a
naked.
Dyson, not a proper like hard suction.
Oh,
Whip it out.
Henry Hoover's been sucked off by a Henry Hoover. Imagine that bit.
And what happens then? Does it just go?
Swells up.
It swells.
Yeah.
So the more they try and get it off, the more
Oh, there's,
swelling that occurs.
Turn the Hoover off! That's going off, is it?
There's been a few cock ring incidents where they put them on like titanium ones, rings, and everything swells up. Obviously it does, but then doesn't go down, and it's like 2 or 3 days swollen. You go in and you have to get the fire brigade to come in.
What with the welder?
With a little, you know, like a Dremel thing, a little air tool. And we went in the operating theatre to cut this thing off this fella's cock.
So cock rings is a no-no, especially that Viagra as well. All these blueies are going on. All people taking.
But you can buy them on. You can buy them on the telly now.
Viagra.
Just you know, go easy.
Yeah.
Cock rings and Viagra. Yeah, what's in that?
Yeah. One of the other guys.
Any more tales of the?
Oh, we could
be
talk
here all day.
All day.
So
I did go to, I went to a chap once who he said he was bored, but he was with a lad he used to work with, Gary, he was a good lad. Still is a good lad. It come through that he'd cut his todger. I suppose it could happen, you know. And we get there, and this fella wearing a pair of like brogues and socks and just a shirt, got his shirt tails down. And it turns out that he was bored at home, so he decided to circumcise himself with a steak knife. Serrated blade. I mean, I've been bored many a time, my friend, but I've never been that bored.
That's how he explained it. I was bored, so I'll just give you some.
That's all he said. I was bored. I was like, jump on, big lad, jump on.
Stuff like that makes me cringe straight away, but you're there, say for instance when you go to these and you can see what's going on.
It's so hard to keep a straight face sometimes.
It's that
like you
sick sense of humour, you know. It's a coping mechanism, I suppose, isn't it? The sense of when you what's the nicest, you become desensitised to so much because you see it all the time, you know what I mean? So your sense of humour alters as well.
Yeah, there's cases where I see when girls popping bottles and they shatter and stuff like, oh Christ.
Yeah,
fellas themselves,
Yeah, it does happen, unfortunately.
The one on the horse races, so we went on the champagne and things were out of hand with the champagne bottle. It wasn't bubbles, Look, folks, I know you've got a heavy schedule ahead of you, but it's nice to have you on from me. Been brilliant, absolutely amazing.
Cheers, Jeff, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for sharing your tales, and leave your comments below, and hopefully you subscribe if you haven't already for our uploading videos.
Brilliant.
Alright, thank you Danny, thank you Kim.
No worries.
Take care.